Morning, Kentucky. We're in the back of Bob's backyard, and for a little different look, the garden has went through some changes. Um, our weather has been absolutely crazy this summer. If you had a successful garden, which really shouldn't take much, but hats off, because if your weather's anything like ours, it went from rain like all spring to drought to rain a little bit and then more drought and then 90 degrees, the hottest or second hottest, if not the hottest summer in Kentucky. And it was like every day it was 90, 92. And, and then this week it drops down to the 70s. And we had one rain that I think came from the hurricane on the East Coast, and we got 3 inches of rain, which we were brown. I mean, everything was really struggling, and then all of a sudden, we get 3 inches of rain in one day, and it drops down to 70. And this Tuesday, uh, we had a low of 48. So we went from 90 to 48. So, um, but it seems like the garden, it's a little frazzled. I mean, it's that time of year, and we're still getting harvest, and things are still growing. But the rain really helped, and the coolness. It's just amazing. Our tomatoes were, well, nothing was putting on blooms because it was so hot. A survival thing for a plant. When it gets too hot and it thinks it's going to die, it will drop its flowers and won't make any fruit. So it's amazing just how many more flowers we've had in the last week. So we might get some more tomatoes if but with this year, who knows when the frost is going to get here. So um, and but today's video is I'll give you a tour, but there's three things that we should try. Um, on the title page is share your harvest. All right. I see a lot of gardens are already rototilled, sitting for winter, which is such a shame. We're still getting tomatoes, we're still getting green beans, we're still getting peppers, we're still getting cucumbers, we're still getting cantaloupe, watermelon, okra. Um, we got cabbage planted. I practice what we preach. We filled every hole with something. And but if you have a harvest, we still haven't grown a zucchini yet. So I got one. It's about that, not the zucchini, the whole plant. So me and my neighbor, neither one of us can grow a zucchini this year. Yellow squash did okay, but our squash behind us, I need to show you a video of them. They went crazy. And but share your harvest. If you have a lot of tomatoes, there's so many, uh, whether it's your neighbors or your relatives, your kids, your grandkids, grandma, grandpa, whatever. Share the harvest. Um, to an older person, I'm a handyman still, retired, but still. And I love to take vegetables. You like cucumbers? Yep. So I'll bring them a few cucumbers. Tomatoes, same way. I mean, it's just um like if they don't have anybody to bring them fresh vegetables, um, you can be the hero of that relationship. Um, so anything you have left over, don't let it rot in the field, and don't let it rot in the garden or on the vine. Pick it, whether it's small, whether it's cherry tomatoes, whatever. Um, you know, if you have to, I mean, if you have a whole lot of cucumbers, make pickles. Can your pickles, give them away for Christmas presents. I mean, people love them. Our pickles come out great this year. Um, so that's the first. That's the first is your harvest, and I'll walk around the yard and show you that we're still harvesting vegetables, and there's still plenty of time to go, and plenty of who knows what the weather's going to give us. But this is the fun part. This is when you push the boundaries and start thinking about cold frames and covering with frost cloths and all that to see if you can drag this growing season out longer. And so that's part of it. So I will go ahead and I want to show you these squash in the back. They're different types. That, you know, when we have butternut back there, and we have, well, naturally pumpkins, and which our Big Mac pumpkin, it was going to be big. The vine borer. If you survived this summer and didn't get vine borer destroyed, you did well, because everything we planted, the vine borer got in before we could even think about getting a zucchini or yellow squash. So, but and rampicant, we have them. They're just going nuts, and they're really delicious. They're, you know, I showed them in the last video. They're like a big C, you know, and they got a little bulb at the bottom. And but since this cool down, they have just went wild, and flowers everywhere. So, and the butternut, we didn't think we were going to get a butternut, and when I show you, a lot of butternuts on the way. So, and they're winter squash, so you know they'll last months. So, and that's what it's all about. So, I will. I'll break here, and I want to video the squash for you before the sun blasts us out here. So, we'll catch you in a second. See you later. Later. I'm back, and you know, this is our garden. Still vibrant, still going well. As you can tell, well, I don't know if you can tell from here, there's a lot of flowers. And we love flowers. We love the mix of flowers and vegetables. One, it brings the pollinators in. We want all the bees, wasps, everything we can possibly get, and pollinate our vegetables. And but our second thing is talk about saving seeds and sharing seeds. So there's so many flowers and so many vegetables you can get that, and you can grow, that you can save the seeds and use for next year. Seeds are expensive, and you know, if your neighbor's got something growing over there, like Earl grew zucchini this year. He's the only one out of the three of us, so we saved the seeds from the zucchini. Very easy process. You know, when you're going to eat the zucchini, you know, cut it, scoop the seeds out, spread about 20 of them out on a paper plate or a paper towel, sit it on the counter, and let them dry out. You got to totally let them dry out, and then label them, and then put them in a bag or put them in something and save them for next year. I'll walk around the yard and we'll see different flowers you can do, like tomatoes. Tomatoes are easy also, but you have to ferment them. You have to put your tomato seeds in a little jar. Put your tomato seeds in it, and then overnight, or usually 12 hours, whatever, the little slimy skin comes off the tomato, and the seeds drop to the bottom. So you kind of drain that off the top, take your seeds, put them on the same paper towel, or you know, or paper plate, and let them dry, and they will be perfect for next year. You know, they're this year. I mean, they're only a year old. They'll surely germinate. Now squash are fun, but if you watch my, I think it was my third video about a squash party, squash cross-pollinate, and you have to be careful, because this is how it works. If you got a seed and you plant it, and you say you got a butternut squash, when it flowers, a bee comes up, hits that butternut flower, pollinates it, goes to the next one, goes to the next one. That goes over to the rampicon, or it goes over to the zucchini or the yellow squash, and then comes back, and other bees do the same thing. Well, they're taking the genetic whatever from one flower to the other flower, and you'll end up with, in my video, um, it was a squashkin. It was a pumpkin and a squash together. It was yellow. It started out yellow. Pumpkin started out green. It started out yellow, got plump. Watch the video. It's really funny because I have all the weird. We just didn't realize you could make your own hybrids, but um, you can get some funky looking squash, but you got to watch because changing the seeds sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller. The taste is not the same. Their longevity, how long they're going to last, is not going to. It's something that we really don't want to try again. Um, it's experiment, but when you get a squash and it looks great and you cut it open and it tastes like nothing, it was like you just wasted your time. So squash is one thing that we will, unless you do one squash. If you do one kind of squash, like zucchini, um, where there's no, and your neighbor doesn't have yellow and butternut and all that, you can do it just one squash at a time, and you'll have, your seeds will be fine. It's when there's more than one, and we have like, pumpkins and squash and everything out here together, who knows what we'd come up with. Um, so, um, so squash is not the best thing to do that, but we got cantaloupe. We saved our cantaloupe seeds that we grew. We saved our watermelons that we saved, and there's many things. I mean, you know, um, peppers. I mean, green peppers, jalapenos, banana peppers, all them. Cut them open, throw them out. Watch watch the hot peppers because don't touch your eyes. Um, put them on a plate. Not do anything to them. Label them. If you don't know what they are, just green pepper. Doesn't matter. Um, so just try to keep the difference between the hot ones and the mild ones because your wife is trying to make something and she's going, are these hot or these? And then you have to try them all. So sometimes that's fun. Sometimes it's not. So so I will walk around the yard and we'll look at flowers and vegetables that we can save the seed. And one of the most obvious in sunflowers that we have sunflowers sticking up everywhere, and we never planted a sunflower. We feed the birds. Birds pick them up, drop them, and it's weird because that sunflower seed, one sunflower will be this tall, and then this will be this tall and be a multi-flower job. And so we don't know why it works that way. But so we'll take a tour around and show you some of the seeds you can save. All right. See you in a minute. Later. Bob's back, and here's our squash garden. This is the new one we did this year, and this is our jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, which we actually just have one pumpkin on there. Lots of flowers, lots of bees. So I don't know if we're gonna have enough time, but heck, we can make a pumpkin pie out of it. These are volunteer tomatoes. We've tried something different this year. Um, as the volunteers come up, I put them somewhere. Replace the ones that didn't do too well, and we have some. We're like a whole nother season of tomatoes now. I mean, we're coming on where they're just green and perfect, and our other ones are looking ragged. So I guess, um, and then you got rampicant, which is uh, this little curly dude. And if you look, um, Well, this is all rampicont, and this is butternut. There's the butternuts right there, and so they're doing well. But look at the flowers. Man, they're just enjoying the heck out of this weather. This one's growing everywhere. That's okra. That one's little. There's rampicont's really good picture hanging off the thing with the blossom hanging on it. They're really cool. Um, Sweet potatoes, haven't harvested yet. It's not time yet. This is a volunteer tomato I was talking about. I think that was in the last video. It's a monster. Asparagus, terrible this year. Not sure what. Peppers. Um, we started these from seed, and you can see pepper on there. There's one of our squashes that are trying. It's trying. And, our bean trellis is just about to the ground and just about run out of beans. So, and we in my last video, I say, every space fill up. There's Swiss chard over there with a bunch of tomato seeds popping up on the outside every time my compost brings tomatoes to the garden. And then there's 17 snow peas, which I haven't made a trellis for yet. So that's gonna go, from there to there and let them climb. Still got beets. There's one of my volunteer tomatoes. Hopefully it'll make it. Another volunteer tomato. Yeah, tomatoes are looking pretty wild, but they still got tomatoes on them, so we don't care. We harvested carrots, which was a lot of fun. That was a whole row right down the middle there of carrots, and they did really well. All right, zinnias. All right, this is one that it's easy. The seeds, if you have zinnias or you know somebody that has zinnias, there's the seed head, and the seeds are inside. So you have to dry that part, and then take the seeds out and label them. And they come in all these different colors. I don't know how that works. I mean, look at that. I mean, every color in the book. And but zinnias will seed down, so we're going to be fighting zinnias probably next year, like big time. Marigolds is another one that there's no reason to buy seeds. You just need to look for one they're dried, like like this, and then you peel them open, and these are all the seeds. So, you can collect from a plant. You can collect thousands of marigolds, and if you do any kind of gardening, you know how important marigolds are for keeping the pests away. And here's a good pest right there. He's enjoying that zinnia big time. But zinnias did real well. This is our giant okra. If you're not familiar with okra, it's very easy to grow. It turns into a tree. This is our zucchini. He's a little small, but we still got a month, so hopefully, and more marigolds. And if you can see our watermelon in there, we're on our third one, and we had 5 altogether. And delicious so far. And the cantaloupe that we had was the best cantaloupe we ever had. Um, this was the fall crop of carrots and some broccoli or let's say cabbage. There's cabbage there and cabbage there. Um, these are lima and pinto, I think, and so we're gonna. Those are different. You save the seeds on those. You have to leave them on the vine, let the frost kill them, and then they have to dry, and then you take them out of a little dried pod and then store them like you buy in the grocery store when you buy lima beans or pinto beans or all them dried beans. Um, Tomatoes are really funky now. They're still growing vertical and they still got some tomatoes on them. So, but we're hoping our next crop that's coming on. But there's still pretty tomatoes on there. Yeah, it's been a rough. The blight. If your plant, and I'll show you. This is blight right here, and it's early. And every gardener, it doesn't matter if they're in UK or New Jersey or Wales or whatever, the early blight is just taking its toll on tomatoes. And it's all the splashing rain and the wet spring and splashes up and then it causes some kind of a disease. But you just keep picking them off as best you can. And if you hadn't noticed, our corn is gone. And in the man versus raccoon, man won. We had 30 ears of corn off of this little plot, and so I had it wrapped up like a jail cell, and but it worked, and I'm so surprised. Somebody got in and got one ear, and then I came out and reinforced and everything else. So um, yeah, so it was fun. But it's really frustrating, when they eat it all, and they've done that. This is another okra. Okra's easy to save seeds too. Um, these are garlic chives, and we have them everywhere in our yard, front and backyard, everywhere. Pollinators love them, but if you want to save seeds for those, or onions, or anything like that, there's another way. You can take them and let them dry when they look like they're dead, and you'll be able to see the seeds. And then cut them off upside down, put them in a paper bag, twist tie, and hang them up. So when the seeds fall out, they fall in the bag and not all over your garage or whatever. And they're beautiful, and they just pop up, but they self seed, so they're everywhere. And yeah, you can see the blight, but still our happy place and still doing tomatoes. So black-eyed Susans. Now this is what they look like in the wildflower garden, and we've already collected some seeds, bachelor buttons, that kind of stuff. You just wait till they dry, pick the little seeds out, put them in a plastic bag, um, and save them for next year. The black-eyed Susans look like this when they're maturing. So you got to wait till they're black, and that's the little center of the black-eyed Susan. And you can either cut them off, put them in a bag, same way, hang them upside down, or you can sit and pick them, kind of break them up. All the little seeds will fall out. So beautiful, beautiful plant, um, and does really well. The dahlias we're kind of new at the dahlia thing. So we're kind of hoping that they make little tubers at the bottom, which is the same as these Canis. Um, two guys here, one's in the back blooming. Um, they make a bulb at the bottom, so you have to dig them up. Some people dig them up, some people don't. We're hoping we're going to probably leave half of them in, and um, hopefully they survive our crazy winters. Well, this was catnip, but it's time. There's the seeds right there. So all you do is break them off, put them in a bag, and you got her. Our sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes gone wild. These are purple ones, and haven't harvested them yet either. So the garden is not done. And kind of a highlight. Well, let's see. You got a highlight of seed collection. These guys. These are 4 o'clocks, and bees are crazy on these things. And it's weird because they open up in the night, and then I'll show you pictures of the hawk moth that comes and feasts on them. And they're so fun. They look like a hummingbird. They're almost as big as a hummingbird, and but they are just amazing. And they're just so easy to. I mean, seeds they're big black round seeds, and so um, we have them everywhere, but we just love them. I mean, they take no care. You just go with it, and let them go. And yeah, I wanted to show you my kiwi reaching all the way over to the porch, the deck. Um, and there's all kinds of herbs. I mean, oregano, and it's in there. Um, if something you really like and your neighbor has it, ask him if you can take some seeds. There's that garlic chives going nuts. That's an elephant ear there in front of the door. Um, that's the same way. It makes a big bulb at the bottom. Dig it up, put it in a paper bag or put it in a box, and just leave it there all winter. Occasionally go in, maybe spray it a little bit of water, but they'll last all winter. And then in the springtime, you plant them again. So, um, there's no reason you have to spend all this money for seeds and bulbs and all that when they do it all by themselves. Um, so um, I have a third. I have a third subject to talk about, and that's um, sharing your knowledge. All right, if you know gardening, or you're learning gardening, or um, I watched the greatest video um, on YouTube about victory gardens back in the 40s, and when we were at war, they um, people had to survive. Their husbands were at war, or wives um, were at war and had to. So to survive, they had to grow gardens, and they had to grow vegetable gardens. And yeah, this is our little square foot garden, and that thing gave us over 40 cucumbers off of that little square foot. And our fig actually has figs on it. But not to get off the subject, but so it was patriotic. It was a necessity that you grow a garden and grow vegetables. And at that time, I don't know, it was early 40s. 40% of the vegetables uh, in the U.S. were planted in people's backyards or market, or not necessarily farmers, but I guess farmers too. But 40% now, we can't say that now. We went totally oblivious to what we can grow in our own yard. And so um, it's a really good video, but it shows that people, moms, dads, grandmas, and whoever was home at the time, the kids, they all learned gardening, and they all did their part. And they had some absolutely beautiful gardens and things that we don't even realize that, um, this is a when winter or fall hits and it starts to get cold, cold frame. And, it's like, oh yeah, you think that's new, it has a glass top that goes on top. But way back in the 40s, they did the same exact thing. And, they did trellises and they did, um, you know, companion planting and, all the stuff that we do now that, you learn on YouTube. It's already been done, but it just kind of got faded away and lazy and just, so, if you have knowledge or, watch a whole lot of YouTube or, you can get things off of Facebook. You can all kinds of gardening channels you can watch and learn all you can and teach all you can. I mean, that's why I'm doing these videos, because there's so much. It's so healthy and it's just amazing to grow your own food. And if you don't have that chance, but if you have sometimes you have community gardens or church, wants to get together and build a plot together, for the church people to work on. And, it's, gardening is a family, and, it doesn't matter. You can sit and talk to people, and all you do is get on the subject of gardening, and, everybody has some degree of gardening know-how. And so you just want to share it. Um, our kids are not learning how to garden. Our grandkids, we try really hard, but it's something that's just not on a little square phone or an iPad or something, but just you know show what you got and tell people, this is what we do, this is what our garden is, and you're going to be healthier and happier and um, and a better person for it. And little fishies are still doing good. Um, so on that note, just share the harvest and share your seeds. Um, here's another one. This is a Rose of Sharon, and you can see where the seeds are. And it's invasive, but it's beautiful though. I mean, you don't get a prettier flower than that. And but um, you know, and share it with the animals. I mean, we share our we buy seed, and we every sunflower we get, we hang on the bird feeders and let them eat it. And then we have the raccoons that come and the possums that come every night and enjoy our gardens and our feeders. Um, so share everything. It's, this world needs that right now. And our old Max back, he never misses a video. So we'll let you go, and there he goes. We'll talk to you next time. Later. Later.